We lived on Berkeley Avenue, and we were very fortunate in growing up because there were 9 of us children, that next door to us was a huge big vacant lot. And my dad knew the manager at the bank, and he told my dad that as long as my dad kept the weeds burned down and clean, we kids could use it as a playground. So I had 6 brothers and 2 sisters, and we would play all kinds of games there.
Harry Watson was in my class, and he was the only Watson that I knew at that time. And I hadn't heard of the rest of the Watson family.
My dad would line off the field for football and baseball, and we very seldom had to have any other kids because there were so many of us. But when it came to playing football, we had to get other kids in the neighborhood to come play.
Well, he knew that I loved sports, and I had a football team over at Mayberry Playground, and so he said, "Why don't you come over and play my brother's teams?"
Oh boy, we were all revved up because my brother Harry told me that they were going to have a football team coming over from Mayberry Playground, and that was about 6 blocks from our house. And that was like another world to us.
So I got my team together, and we came over one afternoon after school.
And when they got down to that lot, I saw this great big guy, and he was bigger than any of them. And he had black curly hair, and he looked real tan. And so I went over to my brother and I said, "Who's that guy with the black curly hair?" And they said, "Where?" And I said, "The guy right there with all those other kids around him." And Harry started laughing. He says, "Oh, his name's Joe."
So we started the football game, and before they were kind of kidding me, about Louise.
So one of them said, "Louise, if Joe makes a touchdown, would you give him a kiss?" And I thought, boy, this is a good opportunity.
Some of the Watson brothers said that if you make a touchdown, you maybe get a kiss from Louise.
And Joe was so shy. He was so bashful, and he would perspire even when he wasn't even supposed to perspire.
We got into the game, and I think I made, I don't know how many touchdowns I made.
I think they ganged up and they let him carry the ball over the goal line about 7 or 8 times.
After the whole thing was over, the game was over, Louise, they said, "Louise, you got to kiss him."
Well, after the game, I had to wipe the mud and sweat off his face and kiss him on the cheek.
She kissed me, and I was always kind of shy myself.
So he got 7 or 8 kisses.
She kissed me a couple times, and I reciprocated.
That led into our first, feelings of liking each other.
She was kind of a vivacious girl. I thought she was really, really nice.
His boyfriend was his prompter, and he said, "Why don't you ask Louise to go to the show with us?"
I called her and asked her if she wanted to go to a matinee.
And I had to get permission. And my mom said, "Where are you going and who are you going with?" And I told her. And I says, "Mom, when a boy asks you to go to the show, do I pay or does he pay?" And my dad was a stickler. He said, even when I got older, my dad said, "Never go anywhere that you don't have change in your pocket or tied in your hanky so that in an emergency you can phone home." So just in case Joe wasn't going to pay for me, I took 10 cents. I don't even think Joe knows this to this day. I know he probably didn't. And I tied in my hanky and took it to the show.
So we went over to the Holloway Theater.
He bought me a candy bar, and his boyfriend sat behind us.
He sat behind me, and I was kind of shy, and he says, "Come on, put your arm around her."
And I heard his boyfriend say, "Joe, put your arm around her.
I put my arm on the back of the chair there.
And this old, cold, clammy, sweaty arm and hand came up and over my shoulder.
I finally put it down around her.
I don't know what the picture was about. I was so excited about sitting next to Joe. And